Hi,
handsome
and
fellow.
welcome to Soaring
Handsome
Profits.
fellas.
I'm James, and this is Patrick. And today I thought we'd go through some goal setting. Like I've been doing a lot of talk about this domino effect and stuff like that. And I thought we should start looking at goals and how you set goals. So I thought I'd use Pat here as a guinea pig, like he often does for me with the market, the stock stuff. And I thought, Pat, what goal would you have? It can be big, it can be small, it can be medium, whatever you think. What's your goal right now?
We have had no conversations around this, so we're jumping right in.
We're jumping right in.
Okay, so well, obviously, we're talking about the podcast and where we want to
Yep.
do with that.
Mhm.
I would say that a goal is to be more engaged, trying to get more content out there. That's
Okay.
that seems
So
like a
more
thing.
content.
Yeah, more
Okay.
better value for our subscribers. Like,
Sorry,
subscribe.
guys. This is all new, so you'll have to bear with me. So more content. That's what we're going to go with. That's a great goal. So what I would do is if I was doing this goal, which we kind of both are, so then I would take more content and I'd break it into three smaller steps. So what 3 steps can we take to make more content? Like one is that we get together and we make
Yep.
videos
Well, so
weekly, which we do. We get together twice a week, right?
right. Yeah.
And we make videos. So there's one. We're already doing that, but let's put it in. What's another way we could do it?
I think it's just about availability of making my schedule and just like jumping it, like making it happen.
Scheduling. Because we're both very busy. We'll just say that says scheduling. What's a third way we could do it?
I think it says skedaddle.
Skedaddle. Scheduling. Same kind of deal.
Good.
What's the third way?
2 a week scheduling. Third way could be,
Well, we're trying to get more content out there to people. So
Yep.
we could do more advertising through Facebook. And so advertising would be a good one, I think.
sure.
I'm just going to put ads. Okay. So now we've taken a bigger goal, which is more content. That's the one that we really want to do, right? And we broke it into 3 kind of easy, smaller chunks. So now what we want to do is we want to take that and we want to break those into smaller chunks. So we're going to go with ads first, right? So
Sure.
with ads, we got to have money, right? We got to start producing. We got to pick what we think people want. So that's you looking at our graphs and stuff like that. We'll just make a little thing there. So you got to examine our graphs. We got to pick the best times of the day to put out our content, right? And what's a third thing that we could use for ads? Probably pick the best platform. Would it be Instagram?
Sure.
Facebook? We're getting some traction on Instagram, so it could be that. So we break that into 3 manageable things. Scheduling. Well, scheduling is a little bit harder, right?
Right.
Because you and I are both busy. We got a lot of things going on. So what we could do is we could either pick a day that we're both, like today, for example, we could pick today.
Yep.
So that's a day that we could pick. Wow, this is weird. You could, through the Oculus, we're on different sides. Sorry, there's an aquarium right beside me that I keep punching. Go Soaring Profits. So schedule, we could pick a day.
Now, if you folks could think how confused we are, could you
Through
imagine
the
what the
Oculus
fish looks like?
So literally through this Oculus, we can be on the opposite sides of the planet. He could be on a boat. I could be in Tokyo. It really doesn't matter. So those 2 things are very possible. And then this 2-week thing. So 2 a week. Now, we try to do more than 2 a week, but if 2 a week is our minimum goal, that's not so bad. It's a chunk that we can do.
Well,
right?
so I think our schedule that we've been doing right now is that we do 2 nights a week that we pump out a couple.
Right.
Right. Does that feel like what we're doing?
That's what we're doing right now. We're doing
Right.
a couple a week. We have it scheduled. So really what we're doing is we're taking the more content that we're trying to do, the big macro goal, and we're
Yep.
breaking it into manageable chunks, right?
Yep. Makes sense.
So because you and I are partners, we
Yep.
can break this up. And that's basically what we have been doing, right? We
Right.
took the more content and we broke it up, and you're looking more at the ads, and I know you've been looking at our marketing, and you've been looking at the videos and saying you like came up with the fact that 10-minute videos are way better than our long 35-minute better videos, right?
Yep.
People seem to like that more. So like if Pat takes that part of the goal, it's a way easier, bigger goal that we can get to. It's far easier because we've broken it down. The scheduling, because so originally, folks, what we did is we were going to do a podcast. I think it's Toxic Male if you go and look. And so the original podcast was us just talking. We're going to be in the same room doing the same thing. And then Pat and I had a conversation and we just couldn't do that. We can't be in the same room all the time.
Right.
So his daughter just came up with this Oculus and she was pretty excited about it. And then we found workrooms and it just fit us so well. So that goal was easy to reach because we found a platform that we can be together, even though we're not together. So that schedule is no longer a problem. We reached that goal already. Right. So
yeah, so people get this. And I think that James touched this, and I don't know if it hit for everybody, but we are not actually in the same room. We are not like,
no,
he's at home. I'm at home right now. Currently, we've done this at work. We've done this at different places. So this is a very interesting stuff. I know when you folks see us, you see us as here we are in the metaverse, but when we're in person, that's, us in real life. But right now we are very distant from each other. And that's how we can still do this and come up with the content that you love, that you love.
Right now, my tenant is walking by and thinks I'm absolutely crazy because I'm standing at a TV talking to myself.
Right.
So, yeah. So this is good. So, So the whole point of this is goals. So what you want to do is you want to take whatever goal you have and you want to take the big goal and you want to break it down into manageable chunks. And then you got to look at those chunks and go, I can do that today. I can do that next week. I can do that. And you break it down. And once you have the manageable chunks, you don't look at this anymore. We're not looking at the content anymore. That's not what we're working on. Pat and I are not working on the content because the content is something we will get to because we're doing all these micro goals. If we find a good ad stream that we can use, that we can reach you with, that's going to get us to more content. If the scheduling, which we figured out because of the Oculus, right, that's going to get you more content. The 2 weeks, if we really get down, which we have been so far anyway, and we do this every 2 weeks, we're going to get to our macro goal, which is more content. So that's what you got to do. Whether it's you want to buy a boat, you want to do really well in the stock market,
touchdown.
You want to take that big goal, which is going to be overwhelming at first. Maybe you want to talk in front of people. I was talking to a young lady I was running with, and she's afraid of talking in front of people. So she's gone to the Toastmaster. She's done all these things. And I was saying to her, what you got to do is you got to break it down to its key components and work on the first thing first. What is your fear? What are you afraid of? Look at that. Work on that small problem first, and then move and grow and bigger. I hope I'm making sense.
You totally are. And I think, to be honest with you, this totally came out of nowhere. We didn't really plan a lot of this tonight. James is like, I'm just going to throw you into this. Yeah. And I'm surprised because you're coherent. Usually you and the rest of the liberals come up with a lot of nonsense most of the time.
That's right. Conservative.
Right.
Little red hat.
No, I think you do. I think you're nailing exactly what it takes to take large macro goals, break them down into more of the minutia. And a lot of people, unfortunately, they get bogged down into the thought process at that macro level, and they can't get down into it. And I think you're doing a great job of putting that through right there. Yeah. So let's do this with something that, for instance, that you've done recently, right? Like, what was a goal that you did? And one of the things that we could bring up there was maybe your run.
Yeah. So I wanted to do.
Look at the tech, folks. Look at the tech.
Great tech here. It's I can erase.
And it's cool because you're muffled because your back's to me.
My back? Really?
Yeah.
Isn't that an interesting side effect? Yeah. Okay. So I wanted to do a 5K run, right? So there's my 5K, right? Well, you can't go from 0 to hero. Well, at least I can't because I'm 52. I'm an old man. My body doesn't work as well as I used to. So I talked to people who ran. How do you find out how to run? Great time for my daughter to call. Usually I answer the call every time my daughter calls, but this time I'm going to just wait. Okay, so I wanted to do a 5K run. So I needed information about that. Can you hear the phone?
Very, very mildly.
So I needed some information about that. So what I did is at first I talked to an ex-girlfriend and she gave me some ideas about how to learn how to run. So when I talked to her, she said, what you want to do is you want to run for 1 minute and then walk for 1 minute. Okay, there's run for 1 minute, walk for 1 minute.
You know what? If you could just step a little bit to that way. I think I've seen that before on the side of a pyramid. That
You
looks potentially like maybe some hieroglyphic.
Have I mentioned I'm Lebanese? I probably haven't. You can't tell from the face, but the nose shows
not
it.
Not enough hands.
Right there. See the nose? So so that's what I did at first. She taught me how to do that. So I kept that in my toolkit. That was a smaller goal to get me the 5K. Then I talked to a coach, kind of a mentor, the guy who owns the store who sells me my shoes. I've joined this club called Running Life, a great club. And I started talking to him about races. And he started breaking it down for me. He was saying that, you have to go slow. You have to take your time.
There's a joke there somewhere.
There's a joke there. So you have to take your time. You have to build up to it. You just can't, just do 5K every day. Because if you do 5K every day, your joints start wearing out. You don't want to do the same amount of run every day. So I had to change my runs, right? I couldn't do 5 every day. Some days I did 3, some days I did 2, some days I did 10, just depending.
Wow.
Just to
so
work
what was
goal.
your dividing, like what was your ideology behind today I'm going to do 5, tomorrow I'm going to do 1, the next day I'm going to drive my car like a normal human?
Well, I never drove my car like a normal human because that's not who I am, apparently. No, so it was my body. So I would start running. I talk about this in one of my videos that, I convinced myself to do that 1K. I get that 1K under my belt. I don't always want to do it, but if I do that 1K, then I will continue to run. So I do that 1K. I see how I'm feeling, see how my hips are, my legs are, joints are. And if I feel good, then I'll do 2K. If I feel great, I'll do 3. I'll go up to 5. Some days I don't feel great. So I cut that down to 3, right? And then when I run with Running Life, I do 10, 17. It just depends on the day because you have those motivators of other people that are all excited around you and are cheering you on to do your very best. So that's what I did. I did 1 minute, 1 minute. Dave talked to me, and then I got a great pair of shoes. So shoes, when running, are super important. Unbelievable, super important. They take the impact away from your ankles, your knees, and your hips. They give you a little bit more speed depending on how light they are. It's just like a bike, a car. The lighter it is, the faster you can move, right? So this was all to get to 5K. So it wasn't like it was about a 4-month journey. At first, I did what my ex-girlfriend told me to do. I ran for a minute, I walked for a minute. I ran for a minute, I walked for a minute. It wasn't about distance. At no point did I even know how far I was going. I had no idea. I was just learning, getting.
So how many times would you do that?
And my
like
heart.
how many?
So I did that every day. I did that every day, and I probably did about 5 minutes at first.
Yep.
So 5 and 5, and then the next day I probably did 10 and 10, and then I just kind of slowly worked up. I would go a couple of weeks where I was doing 10 and 10, and then I do a couple of weeks where I was doing 20, 20. And then eventually I started looking at how far I was going. And I was surprised once I hit 30, I was pretty close to that 5K. It was unbelievable. It just was a slow growing process to where I got. And then, so that got me my first step to 5K. I wasn't even looking at 5K at the time. I was just looking at, I need to learn how to run. I need to know if I enjoy it. Well, I did. So I got that first little micro goal done, which got me closer to that. And then I did what Dave said. Dave, I talked to him a lot about the race, especially coming up to the race. And he was saying stuff like the day of. So the day of, I figured I'd show up, I'd run 5K. That's what I do every day. I leave my work, I go for a 5K run, I come back. And he's like, no. You got to do 3K before you even show up to the race. You gotta get your body, your joints, everything warmed up. And he was absolutely right. So I did the 3K, lost my key while I was doing it, got there, but I was so ready to run that I did it faster than, like, my personal best was unbelievable that day. Unbelievable. And then a week and a half before, so he put me on a treadmill. He saw how I walked, and then he picked the proper shoes for my feet. And I recommend, if you're going to run, go to a proper store, have them examine your feet, have them check you out. So, because there are all different types of shoes, and shoes are more important than you think if you're going to run. It's just, you need a proper bike. A car, if you're going to race cars, you need a proper car. Running is no different. So once I put all those 3 micro goals together, I was ready for my 5K, and I reached it. And not only did I reach it, I surpassed it, because I listened to my ex-girlfriend, who taught me how to run to begin with. I listened to my coach, who taught me how to lead up to it, taught me how to do to run before, during, and then afterwards. He talked to me about recovery, because it takes time for your body to recover after a race, because you're literally giving your all when you're in that race. So you have to recover afterwards. And then I bought proper shoes just before, because my shoes weren't cutting it for me. I was getting hurt while I was running. And that all got me to my 5K. Now, this is a pretty basic example of goals. Like there's all kinds of goals. Like if you wanted to be a billionaire, say, Pat and I talk about that all the time. Well, you'd break that down into, you want different money streams. So you might go into stocks. You might go into housing. You might go into
businesses.
Yeah. So then you have those 3 things. You have marketing, housing, businesses, right? And then you split that out. Well, how am I going to get a house? I got to get the first house. So how do I do that? So you break that down into 3. You break businesses down into 3, and you just keep on breaking it down until you get to a point like this 1 minute. Well, I can do that. You break it down till you get to somewhere where you can manage it. You can do that first step. And just like dominoes, they'll all fall into place and you'll reach your goal. But if you don't break it down, like Pat said, you're looking at this 5K. Well, that 5K is pretty unreachable. Well, not really, but say it's a marathon, which is my next goal. Well, I got to work up to that. So a marathon, if I just think, oh my God, I got to do a marathon, I'm going to be frozen. There's no way. I can't do a marathon. There's no way I can do a marathon. But if I break it down into minor goals or micro goals, and I do each step at a time and forget about the fact that I'm doing a marathon. So my next goal is to run a 10K, which is coming up in June, which I'm going to film for you guys. So I'm going to run a 10K. That's my next. So I can do that. I just have to practice. I have to prepare myself. I have to listen to my coach. And then I'll get to that 10K. My goal is the marathon, right? But I don't have to think about the marathon, because I'm working on the 10K. That's my first goal. That's my micro goal. Eventually I'll get to that macro, which is a marathon.
Right. Well, and again, looking at the board here, it looks like your 5K breakdown into Imodium, Solana, and
money.
sheep. So
I think that's money.
Is that money?
I think that's
so.
A
You
symbol for
paid
money.
the people. You paid the people to give you the great time, and then sheep.
And a sheep.
Yeah.
Okay, it's new tech. I defy
we have a lot of fun doing this.
I defy you to come up here and make anything make sense.
So, I love it. I love it. No, man, you did a great job. I think that it's your goals. Absolutely. I've watched you from afar here. I've watched you closely.
I can do this.
I got Vanna White with me this evening. Look at that look. That's pretty cool, man. Right. I like this. Yeah. We're gonna have to figure it. We're gonna master this as well.
We are.
Ooh, cool.
So right here,
what'd you just hit?
The aquarium, giant aquarium, like as tall as me, full of a lot of water, which would make a huge mess in my apartment, and I'm not in.
What do you think the fish thinks right now?
Well, they're all dead.
Oh God.
Yeah, it was a massacre.
This is a bad topic.
Subscribe, share, fish murder.
Yeah, help this guy get some fish.
I haven't had a lot of luck with fish, but I tried.
What's your name, Elvira?
Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much for listening. I hope that I've helped with you maybe reach some of those goals you want to do, broke it down for you. If you have any questions, by all means, throw them in and we'll try to get to them. Like, subscribe, share, and
look for fish.
Look for if you see some fish,
look out. And let's make some money together, folks. As always, thank you so much. We appreciate everything you folks do, and keep us in your minds. Thanks again, folks. Talk to you soon.
Hey folks, thanks again for joining us at Soaring Profits. Patrick and James, please like, subscribe, and share.
And follow us on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and of course, Facebook. And let's start a dinner table discussion right on this page right here. Let's start talking about the topics that we're talking about today.
Thanks again, folks. Appreciate it.